Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Thursday morning. I hope you're doing well wherever you're watching or listening to this around the world. Lots to discuss today. We're going to review last night's game against Bolton in the Carabao Cup. Obviously, I did the video from the press box yesterday going over my initial thoughts and player ratings, but today is the morning after show where we'll be looking a lot more in depth. We'll look at what Mikel Arteta's had to say. We'll look at what Ethan Nwaneri's had to say after a very, very special night for him. Of course, we'll look at what you guys have been saying, been sending in your thoughts and comments on the match as well. Plus, we'll have a little look at what Martin Odegaard has been saying about his injury and a potential return after that horrible ankle injury he suffered while he was away with Norway during the international break. So, and actually, before I get into this, I'm horrendously tired this morning. Actually got back at a fairly decent time from the game last night, but it was just one of those nights where I got in, just lay there awake all night, could not sleep at all. So I'm going to probably stumble my way through this, but we'll give it a go anyway. And it was a really fun night. Obviously a 5-1 win, a night full of debuts, first goals for the club, records being broken in terms of who's playing. You know, it was just a really fun night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was like a kind of throwback to, you remember the Arsene Wenger days when he used to just play all the kids in the League Cup at times? You had like Carlos Vela running through, scoring hat-tricks, lobbing the goalkeeper, and those sort of nights. So it were always a lot of fun. Jack Wilshere coming through as a 16-year-old, playing in those games. Cesc playing at Highbury as a 16-year-old as well. Just felt like a bit of a throwback to that sort of game yesterday. I really enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, I love this picture here that Arsenal put out after the game. Ethan Nwaneri taking a selfie. I was actually doing my player ratings video, and I saw all this lot come out on the pitch afterwards. And you had Stuart, the club photographer, took an official picture with them, but then they also did this selfie which Ethan took. It's just a fantastic picture with so many of them, you know, Ethan, Josh, Jack Porter, of course, Maldini, you know, just loads of them. It's just a really nice picture, and it's a special night for them, you know, nights that they're just not going to forget for a long time. Whatever happens in their future career, whatever they go on to achieve for Arsenal or any other club, they're always going to look back, some of them, on that night, coming on, making a debut in front of 60,000, 55,000, whatever, at the Emirates last night. And so really good night. And I think, certainly speaking to a few of you, came up after the game, spoke to me in the press box. Thank you very much for that. Tristan, I think one of you was called. It was fun to chat with you, and you just get the impression that everyone I spoke to really enjoyed the night, and it was a fun one. So yeah, and a huge night obviously for Ethan Nwaneri. I love that picture. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the picture I'm talking about. It's Ethan, I think he was 7 at this point, signing his contract with Jack Wilshere, who's obviously a player back then. I think it was 2015. And then you look at that picture, and then you look at what, you know, what he's developed into, the player he's developed into, scoring 2 goals on his first Arsenal start. You know, just really special thing. It's what you dream of as a kid, I imagine, when you you first sign up as a 7-year-old at that age, and it's like, what do you want to achieve? I want to get into the first team. I want to score on my first start at the ground, and, you know, wind the clock forward 11 years, and he goes and does that. And he spoke afterwards and he said, look, I'm buzzing. I'm so happy to have helped the team get through to the next round and just ready for whatever's next. It's a great feeling when the club you love, the club you've grown up with, and the fans are chanting your name. It's a really good feeling, surreal feeling. It's a feeling I've wanted to feel for almost 16 years of my life. So to actually feel it, it's crazy. I just want more of it. All of them players that I've played with since I was like 9, and now we're on the big pitch together. It's a crazy feeling. You know, it's good. I mean, just lovely comments. You know, football, I mean, we all take football so seriously, don't we? At times, it's life and death at times, or it feels like it at times. You know, the highs, the lows, all of that sort of stuff. But it's just nights like last night, you know, moments like that for Ethan. You know, 16-year-old Jack Porter starting in goal, becoming the club's youngest ever player to start a game. Just moments like that is what football's all about, really. You know, take out all the drama and the, you know, just everything that we all feel week in, week out when we're watching football, and sort of strip it all back, and you just think of the players, of the kids who have come through the clubs, and they go on to have a dream moment like that. It's just, you know, it's a fantastic thing. And it was really special to be there to witness Ethan getting his goals yesterday. In terms of Arteta, he was speaking about him quite a bit afterwards. Obviously, he was a big talking point in the press conference, as you can imagine. And some interesting stuff from Arteta, I think, on Ethan. He talks about, when he was asked about scoring his first goals, he said on the second one, I was really happy for him because he scored it. I'm very happy because, I know the reaction of his teammates if he didn't. So I think overall, again, I think he's really good. It was a strong performance for him. I think he really feels part of us. You can tell that he's playing with that confidence, that belief, and that understanding of what he needs to do on the pitch. I was very impressed. He was asked how close he was to now playing or potentially starting in the Premier League, and he said, let's go. It's another step. I think he's ahead of what anyone could have expected in his journey with the first team. He's always ahead of what anyone expected and what I expected as well. He's part of us, so he will have the minutes. So Arteta vowing there that Ethan is going to get his Premier League minutes. It's going to be very, very interesting, the next 2 home games. I think obviously there's PSG next week in the middle of the 2 home games against Leicester and Southampton. Has Ethan Nwaneri done enough to start in one of those games? I mean, I would suggest 100% yes, he has. I would start Ethan Nwaneri on Saturday, I have to say. And I'm not getting carried away. And I know a lot of you are going to agree with me on it. I'm not getting carried away just because he scored 2 goals last night in his first start. But he just looks ready. Whenever you see him, when you see him pre-season, when you saw him come on in those last 10 minutes against Spurs in the North London derby, when you see him last night, he just looks absolutely at home in those surroundings. And, a home game against Leicester, when you've got PSG to come, I just think it's the perfect opportunity. He's just coming in off the back of 2 goals on his first start. He's going to be absolutely full of confidence. He's going to want to get out there. I just think you start him, personally. I really, really do. That would probably mean, I suppose, not playing Thomas Partey, dropping Declan Rice back into the 6th role, and then you can have... no, that's not. I wouldn't even do that. I would play Thomas Partey and I'd have Declan Rice playing just with Ethan Nwaneri ahead of him, and then I'd move Kai Havertz back up front. That would be what I would do for the Leicester game, 100%. And Arteta says he will get the minutes, and I'm sure he does. He does mean that. He also spoke to Arsenal.com afterwards, not in the press conference, and there was a line in it. It says, you can tell he's playing with pressure, without pressure, with confidence, with a way of making decisions that tell you that the boy is ready at this level. And I thought that was a really interesting comment, because it's exactly the impression you get when you watch Ethan. Is just the decisions that he makes, how calm he is on the ball. It wasn't just about his goals yesterday. It was when he was on the ball under pressure, receiving a ball with a defender sort of behind him, just how confident he is on that. He wants the ball. He calls for the ball. He doesn't hide or anything. He just looks naturally at home at this level amongst senior players. And that's just really, really promising. So for me, I'd start him against Leicester at the weekend, 100%. And that can just mean that then you can put Kai Havertz back into what is absolutely his best role as a central striker for me. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Would you be starting Ethan on Saturday? Has he done enough to keep his place in the team? Let me know in the comments below. In terms of the actual overall performance from Mikel, we said, yes, really positive night. The result, the performance, we gave minutes to a lot of senior players and they really showed a lot of quality. And on top of that, we gave a lot of opportunities to academy players and they responded really well. So it's fulfilling to see their faces, their reaction, and how much it means to them. So a great night. And that's exactly what it was, a great night. And he talks there about giving minutes to senior players. And obviously, Ethan has taken an awful lot of the headlines, quite rightly so, this morning. But I thought it was a really promising night for Raheem Sterling as well. Obviously, he scored a goal. He only got 1 assist. I always thought that if you have a shot and the keeper saves it, someone scores, you get the assist for that. But clearly not, because he hasn't been given the assist for Kai Havertz's goal. So obviously, I think I've been wrong in that. Brilliant assist for Nwaneri's first goal, obviously, and then played a huge part in the Havertz goal with his shot being saved. Also involved in, well, scored himself in a move that he was heavily involved in as well. So really promising night there for Raheem Sterling. It's exactly what you wanted from him. I thought he was a little bit edgy when he first started the game. There was a couple of flicks and things that he didn't quite do right. There was one time where maybe he could have got his head up and played Saka in. He chose not to. But he just grew into the game. He settled. He got his confidence. It was a brilliant assist, as I said, for Nwaneri. And I think that really settled in that moment. And then he moved on. He just looked a real threat, I thought, in the second half. Got his goal, as I said, nearly got another when his shot was saved and Havertz scored it. That's just promising signs for him and for Arsenal, more importantly, because you want Sterling to settle quickly. And it looks right now like he is doing that. Okay, just a few questions and comments before not questions, but a few comments here in terms of Gabriel Jesus's performance that I just wanted to run through before going through my player ratings. Got a few here at the top. Weeks, he says it's perfect, great night, capped off, unbelievable. Arteta and his team deserve the credit. Ethan glides with the ball like a young Robert Pires. I've just put the wrong comment up there. It was supposed to be about Gabriel Jesus. I think you're going to get your comment in here twice now, Weeks. You want to get to the next few pages. But the ones below we're talking about it. Says one says, is it a problem when scoring 5 goals against League One Jesus? Again, he comes out of the game without a goal or assist. Someone without a name there says disappointed in Jesus, apart from a couple of moments of trickery. He showed and achieved very little. This is sort of game I'd expect goals and assists from our main striker, and he did neither. He was playing against a third division team where we dominated possession. I don't think he even had an attempt on target. I don't think Jesus even contributed much from a creative perspective compared to Nwaneri, Saka and Sterling. Now, I think this is a little bit... I actually really enjoyed Gabriel Jesus' performance last night, and I was really encouraged from Gabriel Jesus' performance. This is his first start in a while. I'm saying that, and I'm just doubting myself now, because did he start against Atalanta? I think he did, didn't he? But I thought it was his most encouraging start for a while. I thought he looked sharp. I thought he looked lively. He didn't score. Obviously, you want your strikers to score goals and be threat. He had a couple of half opportunities. That one in the first half, which he put wide just before half time when he took it early. I actually thought that was quite a decent effort. But I just thought his all-round game was good. And just more importantly, I just thought he ended it looking really, really sharp and really fit, which is what you want from Gabriel Jesus. He's not going to be prolific, is he? He's not going to be a 25-goal striker. I think we know that. His record suggests that. But I still think he looked promising. I mean, I wouldn't be starting him on the weekend. Like I said, I've moved Kai Havertz back up front, but I think it's a little bit harsh, some of the comments I saw there about Jesus, because I actually enjoyed his performance and I thought he did some really nice things. Obviously played a big, big part in Havertz's goal. Lovely bit of play over on the right-hand side to work the ball to, before I think it was Raheem Sterling who had the shot away. So I actually thought Jesus played pretty well yesterday, but clearly some of you disagreed with me. But I thought it was pretty lively. I came away quite encouraged in terms of Jesus and his fitness level. So these are my player ratings for last night. I did rattle through them. I bumped Jorginho up to 7. I gave him a 6. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, no, that's a bit harsh. I thought Jorginho actually did play just slightly above the level for a 6. I gave Jack Porter a 6 in goal. Again, some people have said, oh, you're harsh on Jack Porter. I don't think you can give Jack Porter any more than a 6, just because he had absolutely nothing to do, basically. He could do nothing with a goal. You know, he's left totally exposed one-on-one. Very, very difficult situation for him to be in there. But I don't think he did anything wrong, really. There was a couple of passes maybe when he had the ball at his feet, that one of which was intercepted. But on the whole, I thought Arsenal protected him very, very well. I thought he tried to come out for some set pieces when they were swung under his box. I like the way he claimed that one right at the end. It was a nice way for the game to end, with him coming and claiming the corner and the whole crowd cheering as he did that. But so, you know, I just think it's a 6 out of 10 performance, because he just really didn't have much to do at all. And what he did do, I thought he did perfectly fine. But 6 out of 10, I don't think that's being harsh on him, to be honest. Some people have criticised me for giving Nichols an 8. I really like Nichols' performance. Yes, he gave the ball away a few times, but he was brave enough to try some of the passes that he did. And he got up and down all evening. He had a big part to play in the first goal. I just liked how confident he was on the ball and how much sort of personality he showed. So I thought it was a good performance from him. So I gave him an 8. The 2 centre-backs gave a 7. I thought they were perfectly fine. I like the way Kivior helped out Nichols as well. Really impressed by Lewis Skelly. You know, obviously Ethan's grabbing a lot of the headlines, but I thought before Lewis Skelly went off injured, he had a really good night. You know, lovely pass to send Sterling away for the first goal. And he just like Ethan, he just looks really comfortable on the ball. He wants it. And yeah, I thought it was a really bright showing from Lewis Skelly. So I gave him an 8. Jorginho bumped up to a 7. Nwaneri, my man of the match, with 9. 2 goals and just excellent throughout the game. I thought Rice, I gave a 7, Sterling 8, and then I gave Jesus 7 and Saka a 7. So yeah, those were my player ratings that I went through last night. But Ethan deservedly has to be man of the match, really. Now there you go. Look, Weeksy, you got your comment up twice in today's show because I made a mistake earlier on. So I'm not going to read this one out again because I already have. McCormick underneath says, I don't mean any disrespect to the other younger players, but Nwaneri and MLS just look a level above. After seeing last night, I wouldn't feel worried seeing them in a Premier League starting 11 for some games. Also, Preston away will be the next step, a great next step for some of the younger players. Yes, Arsenal, if you don't know, will be playing away at Preston in round 4. And I agree, McCormick AFC. I think it'll be a good opportunity again for some of those youngsters. I don't think it's disrespect to say that MLS and Nwaneri look a level above. I just think they are a level above. I think it's as simple as that. That's why they've been around the first team longer. That's why Mikel clearly trusts them a lot longer in their development. They're just further along in it. So I don't think it's disrespectful at all. Vetpara says not going to be a consensus view. And I do think he made a mistake that led to Bolton's goal. But out of all the kids, I was most impressed by Lewis Skelly. Real personality when in possession. I think it's a good word to describe it. There was personality there with Lewis Skelly. I thought that really shone through when he was on the ball yesterday. King Gar says, hi, Charles. I've commented on your show a few times about Nwaneri. This lad is getting better day after day. I hope Arteta uses him more often in the Premier League. He's talented and he's shown he can score goals. Yep, I agree 100%. And as I said, Arteta has vowed he is going to get more minutes in the Premier League. Let's see if he lives up to that vow. And I really, really think he should be starting on Saturday. A couple more here. Goss says, great night for the youngsters. But for this season, the most telling thing may be that Martinelli in this and in the City game has shown a final ball that his final ball has been addressed, improved almost overnight. There has been a distinct change. He is doing a trick, standing up to his man, getting his head up and picking out teammates inside the box. Goals and assists may well be flowing from both flanks again in the coming weeks. Fingers crossed you are right, Goss. Guna72 says, great night for our young players, a massive night in their lives, one they'll never forget. Obviously, the headlines will be about Nwaneri. Rightly so, he's a phenomenal talent, but the rest of them did really well. Good to see some of the other fringe players get some minutes, as they will definitely be needed over the season. Onwards and upwards we go. Cathal Walsh says, hi, Charles. Should we be concerned at no Timber or White in the squad, given Arteta said someone is injured and White is obviously struggling anyway? We are really light at the back all of a sudden. If one of them is down, last thing we need is Thomas Partey back inverting at right back. Yeah, we don't want to see that again. I agree. Should we be concerned? I mean, yeah, I suppose. Yes, I think Ben White will be fine for the weekend. I think it was just inevitable that he was going to be given the night off after clearly he's nursing that knee injury, was asked to play 45 minutes, which ideally Arsenal wouldn't have asked him to play against Man City. So I think he was just given the night off. I think he'll probably be okay for the weekend. Timber, there was no update from Timber, so I can't, it's all kind of hypothetical if I say that we should be concerned. Hopefully not. Hopefully, even if he misses this weekend, it's just a short-term thing. It'd be horrible if Timber's out for long-term as well. We'll have to wait and see. I'll be heading down to London Colney tomorrow for Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of the game at the weekend, so maybe we'll get more of an update on Timber. Mikel did speak about David Raya after the game. Obviously, he didn't play because of a thigh injury last night that he picked up, that he suffered against Man City, but I'm sure he was suffering with that before that City game, because I saw it. I've said about it. I saw him. He clearly had something troubling him against Tottenham. I could see in the warm-up for that game. Fingers crossed he'll be back, but if he's not, obviously Neto will be available for the weekend, so it won't be a case of having Jack Porter in goal again at the weekend. Mikel saying yesterday in his press conference after the game that he wasn't sure yet if Raya would be available. And on the subject of injuries, if you haven't seen this, Martin Odegaard wrote in his captain's notes in yesterday's programme, gave a little bit of an update sort of about his injury. This is some of what he had to say. He said, like any player, the first thing I asked the medical team was how long I'd be out for, but it's tricky to say at the moment. We're in the early stages. It's crucial to get proper rest and make sure everything heals well. After that, it's about getting stronger and building it up again. I'm at the training centre every day now, working hard and doing everything I can to get better. I have to be careful not to push it too much, but at the same time, what I can to make sure I come back as strongly, as quickly as possible. I'm trying to support the team in a different way now. If I can't be on the pitch, that's my situation. I have to make the best out of it. And as I said yesterday, from what I know of Martin Odegaard and how he conducts himself off the pitch, he will be doing everything he can to make sure he is back as quickly as possible. Any little minor detail he can do, he will take it. He will use anything he can to get back on the pitch sooner rather than later. And obviously, like he says, you can't do too much because you don't want to push yourself too much and end up breaking down and aggravating the injury further. But I'm very, very confident that he will do everything he can to be back as quickly as he possibly can. Right, and that's it from me today, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, I appreciate your time. I'll be back tomorrow, probably trying to do one in the morning before I head off to London Colney. It's a 1:30 p.m. presser tomorrow. So I'll probably try and do a normal show in the morning, and then I'll head to London Colney, maybe do a video afterwards updating on what Mikel Arteta had to say. Until then, everyone, have a fantastic day. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.